Hey, good morning, CrossFit Williamsville. Coach Rob, of course, all of you know that, but some of you may be listening to this or watching this from somewhere else. So I wrote a blog post last week. It's a subject that I've spoke a lot about, and I tried to break it down and make it sound more artsy um, in the blog post. But I think I want to talk just directly to you guys. If you want to share it with friends or whatever, you can share it. But the importance of rest and recovery in CrossFit, and I've spoken to a few of my members over the last week about it. It's not new stuff that I brought up, but maybe now looking into this subject and broaching it as an almost 46-year-old versus a 30, how was I started, 34-year-old when I opened the gym after 12 consistent years of CrossFit. I'm going to read through the blog and probably add in a lot of my own like talking points that maybe I forgot when I put it down. So, in the high intensity world of CrossFit, pushing limits and striving for personal bests are inherent to our training ethos. However, amidst the intensity, one critical aspect that is often overlooked is the significance of rest and recovery. I can speak to that statement personally and also observationally as a coach for the last 12 years. Whether you are new to CrossFit, a seasoned athlete, someone that's been a member for 11 years, key to succeeding the long term in our movement philosophy is really understanding how to strike the right balance between pushing yourself really hard and allowing adequate recovery time. It's essential for long-term success, and it's super important for injury prevention, right? So what I want to speak to first is kind of the importance of rest and recovery, because it's very easy to get caught up in the excitement of CrossFit. It's very easy to get in this kind of attitude that 4 or 5 days a week I need to leave myself a sweaty, bloody mess, writhing around the floor in my own, liquids and tissue or liquids and feces to feel like I actually got a good workout in, right? But the truth is that rest and recovery, they're not just an idle, pointless break in between your workouts. They're really important components of any effective training program, right? When you're exercising intensely, your muscles are going to undergo a ton of stress, little baby micro tears that are going to lead to inflammation, they're going to lead to fatigue, and we need to have proper rest so it allows time for those muscles to repair, to replenish your glycogen stores, and to actually restore your energy levels. Now, I'll quote something that I looked up because it fit my narrative, so I mean, we can quote stats all day, right? But research supports the notion that inadequate recovery can lead to diminished performance and increased risk of injury. That was a journal in strength and conditioning research. But they found that insufficient recovery time between high-intensity workouts can result in overtraining syndrome characterized by persistent fatigue, decreased performance, and mood disturbances, right? This is all assuming you're eating and doing everything properly, that they can use that to determine that. But what I want to talk about is maybe hopefully just that quick part is established. I mean, I think if you're watching this, you probably know you need to recover. So we're going to kind of outline what the difference is, and this is something I've spoke with my wife about that she struggles with, and I think a number of us have over time, if we've been involved in the CrossFit space for a while, struggled with this. But it's the difference between practice, training, and competing. Now, I heard this 12 or 13 years ago for the first time. Very shortly after that, I think I heard Ben Bergeron on a video speak to it, and it was very similar to what I'm going to say here, and it was very similar to what I'd heard. I wish my memory would allow me to touch on or reflect on where I first heard this. It may have been at my level 1 seminar. I'm really not sure. But we're gonna outline kind of what we do for working and moving in CrossFit to three areas: practice, training, and competing. Right? We're going to think of practice as involving skill development, technique refinement that does not have the pressure of high intensity effort, right? This phase is super important for mastering your complex movement patterns like the Olympic lifts or even double unders. And I think I went right into the article saying, examples include drills for Olympic lifts or even gymnastic skill work. They should be performed at a controlled pace and focus on precision. Now, training, we're going to get to, training sessions, or what we're going to call training, should be the majority of your workout sessions, right? In these sessions, we're focusing on building strength, endurance, overall conditioning. They should challenge you without pushing you to maximum effort, right? And what a training will do when done properly is going to allow you to progressively overload your muscles and your movement patterns so that you can, but still having time to priority rest in between individual sessions, but that's going to give you, I mean, that's going to let you move forward without any, with less risk of injury, I should say. Now, competing, and you know, when we think about competing, it's sort of a deliberate effort to test your limits is what we're going to talk about. So I don't necessarily mean you have to go to a competition and participate in a competition. But if you walk into the box and you're staring at someone's score and the workout's good for you and you're like, yep, I see what Pete did today and I'm going to trash him on this workout, that's competing, right? And we can even break it down to personally. Maybe you're not someone that likes the scoreboard, but if you're doing a workout that you've done before and we're retesting it and you're hyper preoccupied with what you did last time on this workout and your goal is to beat that time, that's competing, right? They often involve a maximal or near maximal effort, and when you engage in those workouts, they really should be scheduled strategically. Um, I don't see, for most people and in my gym, and again, my target market, I have plenty of people that are younger than me. I'll be 46 in September, but I have a fair number that are older than me. So when you're around my age and older, and I would even argue maybe 10 years younger, that the idea of competing or doing a compete WOD every week, which would be every 5 workouts or so, I think may be pushing it. I think that may be too much depending on your body. And I think shooting for um, maybe every 7 to 10 days would be more beneficial for you. I think you might find better results that way. I know personally, I find better results that way. I did a compete WOD. I competed on Friday. I did Nicole, and I trashed myself on Nicole so much so that I couldn't work out yesterday. Today's Sunday. I might get out and get a ruck in later this afternoon, but I still, my left arm's not moving right. I overdid it. I on purpose. I trained. I PR'd the workout. I beat the hell on my pull-ups, and I'm showing for it now, right? I've been eating well. I've been hydrating. I've been stretching and rolling and doing everything I can to help recover, but I am still sore as can be, right? And the truth is, I think when you engage in these workouts or these red line workouts, I can call them, too frequently, they are 100% going to lead to burnout. They're going to lead to an increased risk of injury, and they're going to make you tired, and your body's not going to work the way it's supposed to, right? So I did in the article, I outlined some kind of quick drop efficient strategies for recovery. Number one, nutrition is going to be awesome, right? You're going to optimize your post-workout nutrition. Try to get a good combination of protein and carbs to facilitate muscle repair and glycogen replenishment. Hydration is equally as crucial. I hate to talk about nutrition and not talk about drinking water. You need to be drinking a lot of water. Most of what you drink throughout the day should be water. Those of you that say you don't like water, you're wrong. You like water. It tastes like water. It doesn't taste like anything. You need to hydrate, right? Active recovery is super important. We define that as incorporating low-intensity activities like swimming, yoga, leisurely walks on rest days. I feel markedly better on days that I go out for a walk after I've eaten dinner with my wife. It's usually only 20 to 45 minutes. We don't go super fast, but your body, it just feels good, right? Active recovery is going to promote blood flow to all the muscles that are sore. It's going to aid in the removal of metabolic waste, and ideally it's going to reduce some muscle soreness, right? Sleep. Let's talk. It is the biggest bang for your buck you can possibly do. Honestly, quality sleep is a non-negotiable for recovery and performance. It just is. During sleep, your body's going to release growth hormones that will facilitate tissue repair and regeneration. You need to aim for 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Yeah, you should try to get interrupted as much as possible in that 7 to 9 hours. No, uninterrupted sleep. And each night we're looking for that. I would adopt the world of naps. I'm a big fan of it. And then I think one more hint on the sleep. I think research has shown, and even my personal experience has shown, that please, trying to get to bed at the same time every night is super simple. Is super effective. My bedtime is 10 o'clock, and if I get to bed at 10 o'clock, plus or minus 15 to 20 minutes, I sleep better than if I were to go to bed at like 11:30 and get 9 hours of sleep. It's a fact. And then lastly on those, so we've already covered nutrition, active recovery, a little bit of sleep. I think maybe mobility and stretching we can push into the active recovery section. But what I want to talk about here is you should include regular sessions of this mobility and stretching stuff dedicated to mobility work. We do a lot of that before WODs. I think maybe I could do a better job of forcing my members to do a lot of it after WODs. I'm a big fan of using lacrosse balls and PVC pipes for rolling and stuff. But foam rolling, dynamic stretching, they're effective techniques to enhance recovery. right? And so, I mean, all of this in conclusion is to say that if you want to achieve peak performance in CrossFit, and I don't mean the top of the CrossFit echelon, I mean your body's peak performance, it requires a holistic approach to your movement and your fitness that you got to put equal value on both intensity and recovery. And if you can understand the importance of rest, if you can strategically plan your training sessions and incorporate effective recovery strategies, you're going to be able to optimize your performance, you'll mitigate the risk of your injury, and then you'll be able to sustain long-term progress on this crazy thing we call life, right? I mean, my goal at 55, 9 years from now, I'd like to be in as good shape or better than I am now. And I'm only going to do that if I pay attention to my recovery, make sure I eat right, focus on my sleep, and continue to move really well, right? So just remember, the journey, the journey to mastering CrossFit. I wrote that, but I don't think anyone's ever going to master it. That's the best part because we're looking at, always improving. But the journey to becoming competent in CrossFit and really embracing it as a lifelong foray is to not look at it like a sprint. None of us need to be in a hurry, right? We need to look at it as a marathon. I think if you can embrace the balance between pushing yourself and pushing your personal limits, which there's certainly a time for it, and it's certainly necessary for our mental and physical development, but you've also got to respect your body's need for recovery. If you can balance those two, I think you'll find yourself achieving new heights of strength, new heights of endurance, and your overall fitness will shoot through the roof, right? So here's your continued success. Thanks for listening, guys. I look forward to seeing you on the box next week. Feel free to share this with your friends if you feel like it may help them. Talk to you soon. This is Coach Rob out.